Well, I
I,
saw
Mhm.
the Avengers screenwriter got fired for
Oh,
the
really?
first one.
Oh, I did not
Yeah,
know to see that.
I know that they've got weird people in. Like I think it was a guy called Jeff who like hasn't really written anything,
Okay.
but I think they've fired him. I think like the backlash of Quantum Mania has them like actually bringing in good writers, hopefully.
Ah, that's the hope because yeah, they've had so many people, and then again, like the person who did Loki, they like she isn't even in control of Loki season 2, so that's made me lose complete faith there. Like, there's just been so many poor decisions on behalf of Marvel at this point that it's just hard. It's harder and harder to care for me about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they
like
just don't want to pay. That's the other problem. They don't want to pay the writers.
Yep. True.
They don't want to pay the directors.
Yeah,
that
they'd
they
rather
should-
get inexperienced people so that way they can pay them the least, which is why they did that with actors.
or
Like
yes people.
at the beginning of the
People
yeah.
that just agree to everything that Marvel says and just
I mean, that's going to be almost any actor for the most part, because it's Marvel. You can't really tell them what to do.
Yeah.
but generally speaking, yeah, they bring in these like people that are newer and don't have as much experience because they can sit there and they can pay them less, and then they're like, oh yeah, but you're getting a Disney film. So that'll
sometimes
get
it
you
works out.
jobs
Like
in the
Loki,
future.
it worked out.
Yeah, no, it's sometimes they're
But she
great.
spent 4
but-
years on that project.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, it wasn't like she had turned it around in 6 months.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
more often than not, it doesn't seem to work out when they do have these. Like, I've noticed lately, whenever because I do these coming soon videos and whatnot, I've noticed more and more that there will be these big projects with like a director who has maybe 1 or 2 films under their belt,
Yeah.
and it's very strange.
yeah, like I think there's like different tiers of stuff. Like I think Loki works because it's like an early TV show, whereas if Loki was like um, if that project had been like Thor 4 and she was writing a Thor film based around Loki or something
Mm.
as like a blockbuster film, I wouldn't have had as much faith. But like for a TV show, it's like you kind of have more free reign. Disney
True.
doesn't seem to care as much. Like the guy that did Shang-Chi is
Yeah.
directing Avengers Kang, like, but he's
Oh,
only
okay.
really directed Shang-Chi. Like,
Yeah, and I didn't mind Shang-Chi. That was actually one of the ones that I kind of preferred out of this whole
Yeah.
thing. But still, at the end of the day, when you're giving these large projects to these people, like you have to either have a lot of faith in them or just are like, hey, we can get it for cheaper. And then also, I'm sure to a degree, they think it makes them look better because they're like, oh, yeah, we're helping up-and-coming people and blah, blah, blah.
Well,
But-
and part of it is because, I think Sam Raimi has even come out and said that no, Marvel and Disney Marvel has restricted a lot of what I wanted to do.
yeah.
Elizabeth Olsen has said they went through countless rewrites while on set, and she just got frustrated with the whole thing. And it's just like, yeah, there's directors that want to do a Marvel film, but when even James Gunn had this issue. James Gunn was forced to have Adam Warlock in the new Guardians movie, and he didn't want to have him in there. And when you watch the film, you can clearly see Adam Warlock does not belong in this film.
He doesn't do anything.
Yeah, and so Disney it basically has an issue where they want to be hold everybody's hand essentially. They don't want anybody to really have free reign because they believe that when that happens, bad things occur. Although when directors during phase 1, 2, and 3 were allowed free reign to do kind of what they wanted and envisioned, that's how you got great films like the Captain America movies were all great. But I don't see Disney ever letting off the reins, especially now after this whole Jonathan Majors thing. I mean, if they rewrote the entire thing for him, they're basically going to look at like, well, we can never do that again.
Yeah, and I think the problem is too is that like with these, I just have such a lack of care because it is also so wide now that it's like I have
Too
to
many
keep up with
projects.
all the exactly. It's like unless you like are obsessed with it, and it's like one of the main things that you constantly keep up with. It's hard to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch all these shows and then I'm gonna go see all these movies, and it's just so much to keep up with that your average person, I just feel like it's too much.
Yeah.
And so even if it is a good project, it's like also I'm not going to go through 5 projects so I can find one good one. And I feel like especially with the shows, that's what it's like. You got like
Even if you
90% of it
watch,
is trash.
even
What
if
was
you
it?
watch like a lot of film stuff, like when I was talking to people about Guardians on TikTok, someone said to me like, Guardians 3 is the first Phase 5 film, and I was like, how are they on Phase 5 already? Like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of following along, but that's super quick. Like it's just. And
yeah, it
it's
seems
very
like they're
annoying
just
the way that-
speeding everything up so much for, and then again, it's like they already had like like an issue with being very formulaic, and when you sit there and you're like, no, we need to pump out this many films, etc. It's like, yeah, you kind of have to then rely on the formula, because what are you gonna do? Make an entirely unique and like rare project that goes like off the rails in a perfect way in like a short amount of time? It's like, no, you're not gonna be able to get all that done with this schedule that Disney's, and that's a big thing for Marvel with CGI workers. I was reading is that these people that do the CGI for Marvel will be putting in 100 hours like of a week in crunch time, because they are known for like these terrible crunch times and overworking their people. And it's like, well, yeah, because they're trying to pump out so many of them, and they're all so heavily reliant on this CGI, and then it's like they have to make it dark. Yeah, they make it dark and they make it look terrible and shitty because they just don't have the time to go for it. Even though Disney has resources like it's nothing, they just would rather pump out as many films as possible because they know.
Well, that was as soon as Bob Iger was leaving or about to leave. Yeah. That's when all of a sudden there was like 10 fucking shows in a year. It was just like, why the fuck is there so much damn content? Because it doesn't even allow you to kind of like fall in love with these characters. It doesn't allow you to go and look at the comic books and see where this character came from and all that different stuff that makes it can sell merchandise as well. But Disney is so hell-bent on rushing everything, like they have. Like, oh, in the next 5 years, all this is over. There's no longer going to be a Marvel Disney. The way, at the pace that they're going, that's the way it feels.
Yeah.
And especially when you watch She-Hulk, I don't even know how the hell it got. Hawkeye was a terrible show. Most of the shows that Disney has released have been awful. Like, not even one episode has been good.
Yeah.
But Loki's the best thing that they've had.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it will remain that way. All right, well...
I do know a lot of the blame is on... Shapehack anyway. Like maybe things are going to start turning around, but it's really tough. I mean, it's not even specifically on Marvel either. Like all of the other properties they have, they seem to be doing like shit with. It's very annoying because it's like you have something so successful because of like the independence that people had early on, and now all the franchises they have, they're trying to like streamline them, and it's like just.
They need to be like Microsoft. Buy it, give it funding, and then hands off. Just let it generate money. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I much prefer that way, but they're just too much because also they want everything Disneyified to a certain degree.
Yeah,
like they want everything to be available.
Some things Blade can't be Disneyified.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of gritty stuff when it comes to comic books, and like having it like Disneyified, it doesn't work out because they're trying to appeal to the lowest common denominator, and then you're never going to get a good story that way.
Yeah.
I spaced out of my head to the depths of the universe. It's a spell or a chance just to open up a newer curve.